Welcome to Orange Coast Unitarian Universalist Church. My name is Donna McCartney, and I'm honored to be your worship associate today. I'm joined by Lawrence Ingalls, our speaker, Steve Morihiro and Susan Shaw, our co-directors of music, and Danielle Lewis, who is our director of religious exploration for children and youth. We all welcome you this morning. I want to introduce our service today with a quote that reflects some of the ideas shared in today's message. It's from Arthur Foreman and is entitled, Not Everyone. Not everyone thinks the way you think, knows the things you know, believes the things you believe, nor acts the way you would act. Remember this. You will go a long way in getting along with other people if you keep this in mind. As Unitarian Universalists, we believe in accepting people exactly the way they are and loving them for their essence, even if we disagree with them. Love is at the center of our church. Reverend Shawn is not here today, but she has a message for us.
Hello, Roomers and Zoomers. So I'm away this week, but my spirit is with you. For those of you who are new to the church, maybe you're just checking us out or curious about Unitarian Universalism, welcome. Glad you're here. You are in for a treat. This is a wonderful, friendly, fabulous, just all-around spectacular community. I hope you can get to know them, because it can be kind of tough to get to know a new community. But here's the thing, just hang in there, join in one of the activities, and before long, you'll get to know people, and then this becomes your church. Well, today we've planned a wonderful service for you, just blending music and word to bring together a helpful and hope-filled message. We hope it will feed your soul. So without further ado, let's go.
So I want to extend a special welcome to visitors. If you're seeking a spiritual home, we hope you find it here. We're a community of many different beliefs. We are bound together not by dogmas or creeds, but rather by a covenant to create a welcoming and loving community. We need not think alike to love alike. In the spirit of this community, let's recognize that many volunteers who have helped us put this service together today. Thank you. Roomers, we invite you to silence your cell phones. And Zoomers, good morning, Zoomers. We invite you to say hello in the chat. As we worship today, let's acknowledge that our church property rests on our sacred ancestral homelands of the Hashiman and Tongva peoples, who seek justice and responsible stewardship. We begin our worship with the lighting of our chalice. And as we light our chalice to say, let us say together, love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth in love, and to help one another. This we affirm together. Okay. All right. Yay! And I'll get you another candle.
Please rise and embody your spirit and come sing a song with me. And invite other people around you to come sing a song with you. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me, that I I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time.
Oh, good morning. I have been having a terrible year. Oh my goodness, it's a relief to be here with all of you. In January, my husband went to Minneapolis, along with thousands of other clergy, to act as impartial third-party witnesses for what was happening there. He was there when that nurse was executed in the street. The headlines read, "Unidentified man killed by ICE," which had me spending hours digging for a name because it could have been Jason. His cell phone reception was really sketchy, and he wasn't answering me. 4 days later, my brother who lives with us had a major heart attack and nearly died. 4 days after that, I was laid off from my job of 17 years. All universities are doing this because the Trump administration has cut way back on university financing, so a bunch of us lost our jobs. And then 2 weeks after that, a young relative who's very dear to me ended up in a psych ward and maybe schizophrenic. We're trying to figure that out. And then finally, 10 days from today, I will turn 60. And oh, you laugh. I was replaced by a 28-year-old at work, so I'm really feeling the age thing right now. Okay, all that being said, I'm so happy to be in this room with all of you right now. I was on the board of this church that sold the old location and moved us to this location. This is only my second time here in this sanctuary. The first was the dedication ceremony back in September. What I was expecting that day, if I'm being honest, was a large, square, empty, plain box with chairs. And this is so beautiful. I was sitting there. I kept getting all weepy that day. And then I walked in those doors and I thought, oh, this is a great space for a wedding. And then the choir sang and I thought, acoustics! Like it was great. I had a great day. Okay, so I was having a strange experience that day, and it's happening to me again this morning. So I want to ask for a show of hands to see if this has happened to anyone else in this room, and it's okay if no one raises their hand because I'm strange. To me, this sanctuary feels like it has been here for years. That's how it feels to me. And I'm wondering, has anyone else felt that while you're in here? Okay, good, it's not just me. Good, I don't know what that is, but it's really cool. I like it a lot. My favorite thing about this space is that the old sanctuary up on Victoria had a really good, really positive vibe, and so does this place. It just feels really good in here. And that's the people, right? That's this church. As bad as 2026 has been so far, 2025 was not that much better. When I arrived here that day for the dedication ceremony in September, I had, Wendy Karn. You all know, most of you know Wendy Karn, right? Okay, coincidentally, Wendy and I, independent of each other, are both really close friends with the same man. He's only 45 years old, and he almost died. He came right up to the edge of dying, and now he's doing much better. But that day of the dedication ceremony, I was super stressed out. And I didn't realize when I got here how much I needed to be surrounded by a space that feels like this and to be with people like all of you. I came away from that day feeling kind of reset inside myself, almost like I was starting the year anew in September. And I'm getting that feeling again now, that the turmoil of 2026, here's where it ends, and the rest of the year is going to be great. And I hope that's true for everyone and not just me. So I thank you all for that. I thank the room for that. And I look forward to sharing a sermon with you today. Thanks.
Today's Time for All Ages is called the Rainbow Bridge. Once there was a small town where everyone lived on different sides of a wide, colorful bridge called the Rainbow Bridge. On one side lived the sunflower people who liked to plan carefully, follow traditions, and be steady like the sun. On the other side lived the breeze people who liked the idea of creative projects and unexpected paths. Each day, the sunflowers and the breeze met in the middle of the Rainbow Bridge to share their stories. At first, they only talked about the plants and the clouds because they were afraid their ideas were too different. But the UU school teacher, Miss Willow, invited the children to help. She said, "We may see the world differently, but we are all learning and growing together." One day, a young sunflower named Sam shared that he loved his family's traditions because they helped him feel safe and connected. A breeze child named Blair said she loved changing things up because it helped her learn about others. They didn't always agree, but they listened to each other with kindness and curiosity. As weeks passed, more children joined the conversations, and they asked questions like this. Why do we think the way that we do? How does that make you feel? What is important to you? Slowly, the children realized that even though some of their families were more like the sunflowers, steady, careful, sometimes controversive in their choices, and some were most like the breezes, curious and flexible. Everyone cared about their friends, community, and the world around them. They learned that understanding doesn't mean agreeing. It means listening with your heart and respecting each other's story. And on the Rainbow Bridge that connected them all, they built a place where differences are welcomed, and listening was the bridge that mattered the most. The end. I ask you to join us as we sing our religious exploration kids to their classes.
It's a brief reflection I have, because I thought you'd be interested. A few weeks ago, I got to spend some time with Pete Buttigieg. It was me and Pete and my friend Gia and 800 or 900 other people at the Long Beach Distinguished Speaker Series, which I recommend if you've never been. He was telling a story. He said when he was Secretary of Transportation, he was working from home one day. It was toward the end of the day. He was finishing up a call. And he said he was on the call with the government attorneys, and they told him, "Mr. Secretary, we're going to stay up all night revising these documents, and when you arrive in the office tomorrow morning, everything will be ready to sign. Have a good night, sir." He said it felt great that this one project was finally moving forward. And then he said, as he was hanging up from that call, the very next sentence he heard was, "Papa, come wipe my butt." He said it really crystallized his life as Secretary of Transportation of the United States of America, who's also a dad. He's a funny guy. You should go see Pete if you get a chance. He did make some good points. The two things that really stand out for me in my memory are when he said that when people are able to break away from MAGA, that we need to welcome them with open arms, instead of saying, "What took you so long?" He also says a lot of Democrats in Congress seem to want to go back to 2014 or 1994, like back to the good old days. But he says that's not going to work because the good and the bad, those days, is all what led us to here, what we're in right now. I largely agree with that, and I'm going to touch on that a little bit in today's sermon. So that's the reflection.
Breathe with me. Breathe When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out.
Oh, I love that one. I love that one. So, one of my grandfathers was from a little village in Mexico. My other grandfather was from a little village in Scotland. My Mexican grandfather barely spoke English, but when he did, he was much easier to understand than the Scottish one. It's true. I only saw my Scottish grandfather once a year, and one time when I was little, he said something to me, and I looked at my grandmother and I said, "Is that Gaelic?" And she said, "No, he's speaking English. Pay attention." During World War II, my Mexican grandfather fought in the U.S. Army. He had already become a U.S. citizen at that point. My Scottish grandfather served in the British Royal Navy. They both fought Nazis, and they both fought fascism, and they won. And I'm proud of them. And I have this crushing feeling that as a nation, liberals and conservatives were letting down the memory of them and their entire generation. A lot of us liberals have insulated ourselves in liberal bubbles, like going to a UU church every Sunday morning instead of something less progressive. We all know this, right? I go to a UU church largely because I feel like it's a place where I can exhale. I feel like it's where I don't have to brace myself, where my marriage and my questions and my doubts and my convictions are gifts instead of liabilities. Being UU is not my entire identity, but it's an important part of it. And it's not just my identity, it's community. If I were to move to another state, I'd make sure there was another UU church out there somewhere, right? It's hard to imagine just walking away from Unitarian Universalism and having nothing to do with the community at large or with specific people in it. It's even harder to imagine being ostracized by the UU community. Imagine that. Imagine any community to which you belong just turning its back on you. When I was a young man, that was normal for most American church communities to do that to gay men like me, and some of them are still doing that kind of thing. You can picture what I'm saying, right? You can imagine these scenarios. Here's the thing. MAGA, the red hat people, that's also an identity and a community. I know that I want to say to them, look at the disaster that we're living in. It's okay to change your mind. But the truth is, in the case of MAGA folks, it's so much more than just changing your mind. Other MAGA are the people who bring you casseroles when you're injured or ill. These are the people who came to your child's wedding or who sat with your spouse while they were dying. When someone like us says, just change your mind, we're not just asking for a policy adjustment. We're asking someone to risk exile from their community, while simultaneously not being super welcoming to conservatives ourselves. Some of us UUs do not come from liberal families. Some of us did not go to liberal schools. Some of us do not live in liberal neighborhoods. For some UUs, conservatives are unavoidable. I fall into this category. And I'm frequently surprised by how often my more insulated liberal friends completely misunderstand conservatives. For example, there's often the assumption that well-educated people, if they're not actually liberal, at least their understanding of things like the hard sciences or even something like history is the same, because facts are facts. I'm here to tell you this is not true. I was having lunch with a man that I got my master's degree with. We graduated from the same program at the same time. And we were having lunch one day, and the word evolution came up in that conversation, and he kind of scoffed. And I couldn't tell if he was joking or not. So I said, you do believe in evolution, right? And surprised, he tilted his head and he looked at me like I couldn't be serious. And he said, do I believe monkeys just magically turned into people from one day to the next? No. You don't believe that, right? You can't. So we started arguing quietly at this table. And I finally told him, look, there is no science textbook anywhere written by a scientist that says monkeys turned into people. All that evolution says is that an organism changes over time. That's it. He whipped out his phone, he Googled it. His eyebrows went up in surprise. The point of the story is, when we liberals talk about things like evolution, to many conservatives, we sound like idiots. Monkeys turning into people. Okay, hope you didn't spend a lot of money on that fancy degree of yours. This is how you foment disdain for education. Monkeys turning into people might sound ridiculous to you, but this is the water conservatives swim in. It is the air that they breathe. A pattern I've seen among my own conservative loved ones is that if a fact is outrageous or ridiculous, they just don't believe it. Conservatives judge situations by their own feelings about what's plausible, regardless of any evidence. I saw a liberal podcaster interviewing his conservative father. The father's a super patriotic guy. And he asked his dad what he thought about Trump demolishing the entire east wing of the White House with no permits, not involving anyone in the decision, just knocking it down. And his dad said, in complete seriousness, oh, no, that's so stupid. Of course the the East Wing hasn't been knocked down. That's AI. No president of the United States of America would ever do such a thing. You hate Trump so much, you really will believe anything the liberal media puts in front of you. No president of the United States of America would ever do such a thing. You can see how that would make sense to someone, right? That you got to give him that. That should be true. This is the water they swim in. It is the air that they breathe. Facts that are outrageous, they just don't believe them. There's a political party in the United States that has figured this out, and they know they can do shocking things because a significant part of their constituency isn't going to get upset, largely because they're not going to believe certain things are happening in the first place. On some level, this instinct comes from patriotism. It comes from wanting to believe that our institutions are stable, that our leaders are honorable, that the arc bends reliably toward decency. But then what happens when the outrageous becomes real? That's where we all live, right? The outrageous has become real. I've been having trouble sleeping since, the beginning of 2025. Never in my life has it been so in my face every day how easily I pass for white. And worrying about my loved ones who have no chance of passing is very, very stressful. I live in Santa Ana. The majority of us who live there are Latino. Most of us are a lot darker than I am. I have a warm, cozy bed. And at my current age, I've spent a slim majority of my entire life with the man lying next to me. But I know, and I cannot get it out of my head, that terrible things are happening outside. That poor, helpless people are being dragged from their homes. Families are torn apart. Children come home from school to find that their parents have disappeared. Equally disturbing with these circumstances is that what I just said, beginning with the words, terrible things are happening, that's a quote from the diary of Anne Frank. And every single word of it is happening in my neighborhood right now. And Anne Frank, by the way, would be in her 90s if she were alive today. We're not talking about ancient history. My childhood piano teacher survived Dachau. She had numbers tattooed into her arm. When I was a child, I personally knew people who had been in Nazi concentration camps. But it was not until I was in my 20s that I heard somebody bluntly say, the Nazis did not go to some place called Jewish land to find and persecute people. The German government turned against its own citizens. I had never thought of it that way before. It had never been taught to me that way before. It was obvious once someone had said it like that. But that framing changed me when I heard it because it made it so clear that the erosion of democracy is not foreign, it's domestic. I was born near the beginning of Gen X. So my older siblings are baby boomers. My older siblings and my cousins are baby boomers, and our parents are the silent generation. There really are distinct differences between those three groups. And what I and friends of my generation are running into with our older relatives is dismay and sometimes anger that we care about total strangers. I have a lot of friends and relatives my generation who were raised in Christian Republican households. One of my Christian, formerly Republican friends recently told his parents, when I was a kid, we worked soup kitchen lines. Twice in my childhood, there were homeless people in our guest room for weeks until they got back on their feet. And there's no way you would do anything like that now. You have changed. A lot of people my age and younger feel that way about our older relatives. They have changed. I'm talking about people who were old enough to have voted for Ronald Reagan's first term, whether they did or not. People who would have taken to the streets if Reagan or anyone had bulldozed the White House. But now, We are a country based on capitalism, not on empathy and not on character. And we judge our health as a nation by capitalism. From Trump's first 4 years in office to Joe Biden's next 4 years, and now more than a year into Trump's current term, the stock market has gone up and up and up, mostly. And both parties in Congress see that as healthy. In my opinion, this is why Democrats in Congress haven't done anything about our slide into a totalitarian government. We are not sliding, we are there. Some Democrats have even voted to increase ICE funding. Empathy does not show up in quarterly earnings. Justice is not indexed on Wall Street. It is ingrained in our culture that empathy is for fools. Any liberal my age or younger will tell you it is surreal to have to explain to our older relatives, we are the way we are because you raised us to be kind. Your entire generation forced us 5 days a week to pledge our allegiance with liberty and justice for all. And now you're disappointed or bewildered or angry because we actually do want liberty and justice for everyone? Really? My grandfathers and all of my great uncles and one of my great aunts were all in the American-British militaries during World War II. Most of them were conservatives. But with the horrors of World War II vivid in their personal experience, they were on the ground in Europe. They didn't read about it in newspapers. They were there. They lived it. I cannot believe that they would be okay with today's political environment. I choose to believe that if they were here today, they would vote as I do. But a lot of their kids, their now senior citizen kids, believe they would vote in the fascist-leaning way they themselves vote. My dad fought for freedom in World War II. That's the kind of thing you'll hear people older than me say. If you point out to these people that kidnapping people without due process is not freedom, that it's exactly the same thing that Nazis did, that it is in fact the far opposite of freedom, well, you're just a crazy liberal who doesn't really understand things. I feel like I understand the Civil War a whole lot better now. People you've loved your entire life, and each of you looks at the other like the other is crazy, or unpatriotic, or just sadly confused. You've heard the term culture wars. That phrase was coined by sociologist James Davison Hunter. He says our problem right now is not polarization. He says culture wars always precede shooting wars, and authoritarianism is a response to the absence of solidarity. E pluribus unum, out of one many. Hunter says if that can't be generated organically, it will be imposed coercively. Many of you know that my husband is a UU minister who has spent some time in our local immigration court trying to bring comfort to people before ICE drags them away. These are people, a lot of these people are here legally, going through the process one is supposed to go through to become a US citizen. What he doesn't often explicitly tell people is that ICE literally drags people away. They don't let them walk. They get a guy on each arm and then they lift them so that their feet drag along the corridor. And he says the attitude of some of these ICE agents reminds him of the glee that our childhood bullies used to exhibit when they were beating us senseless for being gay. He also doesn't often explicitly say that some of these agents are women. Some of them are black, some of them are Asian, some of them are Latino. We live less than 2 miles from the courthouse, so I've seen a lot of ICE agents on our streets. When I see agents who are Latino, it feels both humiliating and mortifying. They're not my family or my friends, but we share a culture and a language and a history, and I want to walk up to these people and just shake them and say, what is wrong with you? What are you thinking? Here's the thing it's taken me my whole life, up to November of 2025, to be able to say this in these words. Morality for liberals is based on outcomes. Children get fed. People have access to health care or to fresh water. For us, it's about outcomes. Morality for conservatives is about being on the right team. You can't get into heaven if you're not Christian, for example. If you're a Buddhist, you don't go to heaven. No matter how good a person you are, you're going to burn in hell for all of eternity. So it's important to be on the right team because being on the wrong team has dire consequences. I was having dinner with a friend from high school a few months ago. We were just catching up. We hadn't seen each other. And as we were going through the menu, she told me that earlier that day she had been cleaning out a closet. And at the back of the closet was a door to a kind of unfinished storage space under the eaves of her house. And it occurred to her in that moment that that space was big enough for her to hide a family in, if, for example, the authorities came for one of her neighbors or their children. It was simultaneously a horrifying turn in the conversation. But I have to tell you, it was also really heartening because I realized this is how Americans are thinking. How can I be someone who saves Anne Frank and her family rather than where's the website where I can turn them in? And to be sure, the where can I turn them in folks, there's millions of those. But there are tens of millions of us. The US population, thank you for acknowledging that. The US population is now at 340 million people. 340 million Americans. So while 77 million did vote conservative in the last presidential election, I think we need to say out loud over and over again, that's 22% of the population, which means that the vast majority of us did not vote for any of this crap. We're not just in the majority, we are in the vast majority. That's rare for you used to be in the majority of anything, and we need to start seeing ourselves that way. We are at a point in American history where we, people like us, are the majority. Who saw that coming? I know it's my own anecdotal experience to say this, but in the last few months, most of my conservative loved ones are suddenly exuberant and eager to talk about anything other than the economy or politics. If I'm talking about my day and I mention going to the market, if I mention anything that could lead even obliquely to the price of groceries or tariffs, all of a sudden we're talking about, do you remember that time? Do you remember when we went? Anything to avoid talking about the economy or politics. I know quiet shame when I see it. And I don't see it in all of them, but I do see it in a lot of them. And I'll tell you, I know a lot of conservatives. I worked in finance for most of my life. Most of the conservatives that I know think it's wrong to shoot American moms in the face. Most of the conservatives I know think it's wrong to execute American nurses in the street without a trial. And importantly, most of the conservatives I know will vote conservative again and again and again, no matter what, whether it's bulldozing the White House or masked federal agents in full military tactical gear executing American nurses in the street. It doesn't matter to them, or at least it doesn't matter enough to affect how they vote. So let's all reset here for a minute, right, as a group. We are the majority. The majority of Americans care about other people, whether or not those others are American. A tiny minority, a handful of obscenely wealthy people, has taken control of our government, and that can feel disheartening and overwhelming if you focus on that, instead of focusing on the hundreds of millions of Americans who are fed up with the entire situation. We are not fringe, we are not alone, and we are not powerless. But I think we can honestly say maybe that we're tired. I get really tired sometimes. So I want to leave you with this idea. I've been singing in choirs since I was a little boy, since I was an alto. And one of the first things I learned about singing with other people is that you have to coordinate your breathing with the other singers. If there are bars of music coming up where you're going to need a big, long breath, you and the people on either side of you can't all pause and breathe at the same time because the music needs to keep going. In these life circumstances, we all know that each of us needs to stand up for truth and for justice, but it is impractical to constantly do that every waking hour of every single day. So please try to remember, when you pause, because you need to disengage, because you need to breathe in, I will be breathing out. I will be marching, protesting, making phone calls, doing whatever it is I can to set the example of being a decent human being. And I know when I step back that you're going to be out there doing what you can and being involved. And I'm so thankful for every single person in this room, for everyone in this congregation, for all you use all across the country, but also for many Christian and Jewish and Muslim congregations who are on exactly the same page as we are when it comes to wanting to preserve American democracy. When my husband went to Minneapolis with thousands of other clergy, he was at a breakfast meeting. So he's the UU minister at the table. On his right was a Roman Catholic priest, on his left, a Muslim imam. All of them there united together to work on the same thing. There was a protest rally while they were there, and the organizers were hoping that maybe 5,000 or 6,000 people would show up, but the weather turned to minus 20 degrees. And when they got there, between 40 and 50,000 people were there in minus 20 degrees. And I'm guessing you didn't see that on the news, right? It didn't make the news. It's really disturbing. Not becoming overwhelmed takes deliberate action. It doesn't just happen. It's not a matter of how naturally high or low your tolerance levels are, right? Breathe in, breathe out. We are together in this. Liberal and even some not so liberal people together across state lines, across time zones, from sea to shining sea, we are the majority. Let's remember that from now on. This is how movements survive. This is how hope survives. This is how nations survive. My grandfathers fought fascism, not because it was fashionable, but because it was necessary. They believed that ordinary people were worth defending. So let us together, I agree. Let us together also defend ordinary people. Let us together defend decency. Let us together defend one another. Breathe in, breathe out. The music is still playing. There are some dissonant chords ahead of us, but there is also beautiful harmonies and movements waiting for our united voices. Thank you for listening to me this morning.
Please rise in body of spirit and sing this returning song. We laugh, we cry, we live, we die, we dance, we sing our song. We need to feel there's something here to which we can belong. We need to feel the freedom just to have some time alone. But most of all we need is friends we can call our very own. And we believe in life and in the strength of love. And we have found a need to be together. We have our hearts to give, we have our thoughts to receive, and we believe that sharing is an answer. Our lives are full of wonder and our time is very brief. The death of one among us fills us all with pain and grief. But as we live, so shall we die, and when our lives are done, the memories we share with friends, they will linger on, and we believe in life and in the strength of love, and we have found a place to be together. We have the right to grow, we have the gift to believe that peace within our living is an answer. We seek elusive answers to the questions of this life. We seek to put an end to all the waste of human strife. We search for truth, equality, and blessed peace of mind. And then we come together here to make sense of what we find. And we believe in life and in the strength of love. And we have found a joy being together. And in our search for peace, we will finally see, even to question truly is an answer.
Unitarian Universalist congregations are fully self-supporting, meaning that members and friends raise all the funds for the operating budget, ministries, and program of our church. We are ever grateful to you for your gifts of time, treasure, and talent. OCUC amplifies that spirit of generosity by sharing one half of the plate with an organization that shares our values. This month, we are sharing the plate with Orange County Food Bank. This amazing group supports nonprofits across the county to distribute meals to low-income families and individuals in this farm-to-family program. They also have a diaper bank that furnishes monthly supplies of diapers and so many other things they do for this community. There are too many to list here today. But they are such a worthy organization. There are multiple ways in which you can support the church and this organization. You can mail a check, you can go through our website, or you can use an app called Vanco Mobile. If you're a roomer, you can also use the basket as it is passed. The choice is yours. All the information is on our website should you need it. As always, thank you for your generosity.
Please join in singing our offertory response. We gather together, we gather as one, for peace, love, and justice for everyone. We give from our hearts to show that we care. We can change lives with what we share.
I want to invite Elizabeth Kilchoyer up to the podium to share her pledge testimonial.
Wow, it's been about 2 months since I've been in front of a group of people. I'm on leave. Okay, much less adults. My name is Elizabeth Kilchoyer, and Jamie has asked me to give a testimonial pledge for the pledge drive for OCUUC. Our connection to OCUUC started over 24 years ago when our eldest child was in utero and I was due in less than 3 weeks. At the time, the minister of the church was Reverend Karen Stoyanov. She took one look at me and said, "There's no way you're going to make it to the new member ceremony in 2 weeks. So if you're interested in joining our church, I can come visit you after the baby is born." There was no ceremonially signing of the book, just a quiet, supportive house call and a great big welcome to our community. That baby was Joelle, born September 10th, 2002. Later, with the addition of Emma in 2006, we knew we had found the faith community we were looking for to give our children a well-rounded exposure to religion and life philosophies for them to make up their own mind when they were ready. Fast forward 23 years, and Joelle is now an adult member of the OCUUC community, works in the church nursery, and is the occasional worship associate on the fourth Sunday of the month. I couldn't be prouder. Ever since joining OCUUC, we have been surrounded by love and support through all the ups and downs of life. From our darkest times to our times of celebration, this church has been a bedrock for our family. The sense of community and friendships that we have forged with members of this congregation will always be an integral part of our support network. When Emma, born Eric, felt ready to transition to she, her, thanks to the support of this loving community, it was an absolutely seamless transition. Not one person, thank you. Not one person even blinked an eye and simply addressed Emma as always, but with her chosen name and pronouns. That, to me, is the heart of this church. This confirmed that even after 21 plus years with this church, this was more than just a faith community. It's who we are, and a social outlet with like-minded and not so like-minded people from all walks of life. This faith community means so much more to us than a monetary contribution. There have been times where service was more feasible for us, and that's a perfectly valid contribution. Jock and I have been active participants in the OC-UUC community, ranging from being RE teachers, committee chairs, on hiring committees, and so much more. As we web and flow between giving and receiving, this community will always be a part of who we are. As Reverend Sean and Jamie alluded to, it's about giving until it feels right. Please give generously from your heart. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. That was beautiful. So now is a time when we honor the important events in our lives. You're invited, one and all, whether you're a member, a friend, or a visitor, to participate in our weekly ritual of joys and sorrows. So if you want to join us, sit up straight, put your shoulders back, feet flat on the floor. Take a deep breath all the way into your lower lungs. Take in another deep breath. Perhaps you're here today holding something close to your heart, moments from the last hours that have struck you at your core. If you'd like to honor such a profound joy or sorrow, you're invited to do so. If you're a roomer, you're invited to come forward to light your candle. If you'd like to share your joy or sorrow, you can write it on a slip of paper. And the ushers will, if you want to hold your hands up, if you'd like one, they'll bring it to you. So if you'd like to write your joy or sorrow on and share it, have me share it with the congregation, raise your hand. They'll bring that paper to you to fill out, and then you hand it to me when you light your candle. If you're a Zoomer, you're invited to write your joy or sorrow in the chat, and I will read your joy or sorrow, and Dawn Martin, our pastoral care associate, is going to light a candle for you, Zoomers. So, if you're here physically with us and would like to come and light a candle, you come forward now. Okay, so let me check out our chats online first. Oh, thanks. Oop. Thank you. Okay, so all right, so this is from V. Her joy and concern, Reverend Lee Marie is at home recovering. Her surgery went well, but she needs more healing. Grateful for Rosie, who is caring for her. Phyllis D. also shared that information. She added that her friend Rosie came from Costa Rica to be with her for a few weeks to help her. And so she had some, she had to go to ER last night to stabilize her blood pressure, but she's back home and she's doing well. So she's had some ups and downs, but she's on the mend. Joy shares that Sarah C. shares that she has a joy. She's so happy to take a walk to the beach and drawing or writing. Oh, cool. From Francie C. She has a joy. She's glad to be home again. Yay! I'm doing better every day, so thankful for my UU friends for their calls and care, gratitude and blessings. And we have a lot from you in this room. All right, let's see. This is for Sophin Z. She has a message of hope, a thought of hope. My very good friend is struggling with their health. Please send positive vibes and healing thoughts so they can get better now. So send those out now. This is an anonymous, they didn't write their name, Joy or Sorrow, but this is Sorrow. OCUC member Jan Rovin died at home on March the 7th. She was 85. There will be no formal service, but her family welcomes shared memories on social media platforms. Sherry L. is sharing a joy. Huge thank you to Steve and Susan for the choir workshop yesterday. Yay! Elizabeth K. says that she is a joy. It's always a pleasure to have Lawrence present and speak from the pulpit. Thank you for reminding us that together we are stronger. Actually, there's another Lawrence one here, so I'm just skip ahead to find that one. We'll get them done at the same time. All right, let's see, where is it? Probably at the bottom, right? Okay, here it is. This is from Nicole and Mia, and they just said, thank you so much for putting words to what we've been feeling since early 2025. Today's sermon offered such great insight and perspective about what our older generations carry. Maureen M. says that she's a joy. The flowers are in celebration of her 80th birthday. Yay, Maureen. Happy birthday. Leanne S. says that her best friend of 30 years has found a lump in her breast. Sorrow. The doctors are doing the needed exams. Please hope and pray for benign findings. Judith has a joy. Denny M. will be celebrating her birthday tomorrow, so several birthdays. Linda C. says she's feeling gratitude for the wonderful care by doctors, family, and friends as I deal with the therapies for my lung cancer. And we'll keep you in our prayers, Linda. Peggy P. has a joy. She's spending a wonderful 4 days in Death Valley to experience the spring bloom. I will show my photos today in the Women's Circle meeting. So if you want to see them, go check it out. Women's Circle. Adam G. has a sorrow. In a therapy session this week, tears were streaming down my face after she had me write a letter to the late Jacqueline. Not sure the last name. The therapist reminded me that it was healthy, but still very difficult. So, thank you for sharing that. Kristen M. says that she has a sorrow. My friend's beautiful Maine Coon cat, Ollie, had to be put to sleep yesterday. I loved him. He was a huge, furry, gray beast who always ran to greet me. I will miss all 20 pounds of him, but we'll see him again someday. And I say this last one because it's kind of embarrassing to me, but Marilyn F. wrote, thanks to Donna McCartney for the wonderful auction item, St. Patrick's Day dinner last night. Delicious corned beef and cabbage, punctuated with lots of laughs. So thank you, the group that came. That was really a fun dinner. So thank you. So let us hold and love all the joys and celebrations and all the hurts and sadness, both spoken and silent. Let our joys remind us to be thankful, our concerns remind us to hope, and our sorrows remind us to connect. Let all these moments remind us that we are not alone. Please join Don Martin in a spirit of prayer or meditation.
I have a reading, probably a prayer, from someone named Valerie Cower, who gave this as a part of a TED Talk, so keeps us connected with reality. Love is more than a feeling. Love is a form of sweet labor, fierce, bloody, imperfect, and life-giving. A choice we make over and over again. If love is sweet labor, love can be taught, modeled, and practiced. This labor engages all our emotions. Joy is the gift of love. Grief is the price of love. Anger protects that which is loved. And when we think we have reached our limit, wonder is the act that returns us to love.
Let's join together as we extinguish the flame of our chalice and say together, we extinguish our chalice,
but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
So thank you for joining us this morning. If you're a guest or a visitor or someone who hasn't yet been known to us, we invite you to become part of this beloved community. If you would like to know more about our church, we invite you to either stop by the welcome table, which is right out there, where we have some information for you, or you can contact us at hello@ocucc.org, and we will help you get connected. Zoomers are welcome to stay after and chat with one another online. We want everyone to feel a part of this beloved community, so please reach out and we will help you get connected. So one of the announcements today is from Reverend Sean. She's not here, but she asked that she wants to support our Christian Scientist friends, and she wanted to share that they're having a talk on Christian Science, what really matters, and it's Saturday, March the 21st at 10 a.m. So if you want information about this, we only have one card, so come see me, and I'll get the information to you. It's in Santa Ana, the First Church of Christian Science in Tustin. The Lunch Bunch is meeting again today, right after today's service, at Mofo Me Eatery, which is close by in the Mesa Verde Plaza. Everyone's invited. The Interfaith Luncheon is up on here. I don't know a whole lot of details. Is it Wednesday? It's Wednesday, yes. There it is. I'm sorry? Oh, no lunch, okay, so it's just meat and starve, no. but have some interfaith work together. Okay. All right, so sorry about that. All right, so then next Sunday, after church, there will be an informal reception celebrating the artistic talents of someone who was just up here a little while ago, Elizabeth Kilchoyer, here in our administration and RE lobby. So come after our service next Sunday to hang out with her and celebrate her. And then on the last Sunday in March, Earth Justice is coming to OCUC. So check it out and join in the fun.
Oh, the slide says benediction, but if I could just take 30 seconds, if I could, to echo everything Elizabeth said about this congregation. Back in 2010, I hadn't been a member here for very long, and my mom died, and people came out of the woodwork with an attitude that said, how can I help you the way that you need to be helped? And then they did, and I will forever love you for that. The benediction. May we leave this place remembering that we do not stand alone. When you are weary, may someone else be strong. When you are strong, may you carry hope for another. May we have the courage to seek truth, the tenderness to choose empathy, and the wisdom to rest when we need to breathe. Go in love, go in resolve, go knowing that we are more than enough.
The service is over. May our service continue.